Yikes. Why is that a yikes? I use a lot of various prefer options. So, like, sometimes I regularly prompt using only dash dash things. Like, this is a valid prompt for me. Just text. Just options. Fair. P random when? Honestly, probably never. There's a small chance of it, but unlikely. I'd almost say that sref random is more likely. Currently 33C on it. It is similar here. Far too hot. Fortunately, I've been staying inside, so I don't actually have any idea what the humidity out there is. I just know that the number is large and I don't like it. Ainsi, which is 49. That sounds lovely. DC with 100. It took some getting used to when you move abroad. That's not the kind of thing you get used to, it's the kind of thing you endure. Again, bring when. You did get used to it. Now you spend UK summers in jeans and sweaters. Okay. I'm sorry. David seems to be running a bit late. Heard anything from him regarding it? As soon as I say something, he shows up. Hello. All right, I can hear you now. I can hear you. You are a bit quiet, though. Barely. You are very quiet. I have you at max volume and it sounds like you're whispering.
Maybe it's just a microphone. Should be fine. So you can hear me now.
Okay, it's a bit better now.
Alright, doing the announcement, letting people come in. I realize I've been announcing the office hours saying I've been sick the last month because I keep copying and pasting the old thing, which is kind of hilarious. Gonna fix that now. Yep. Wait for people to come on, and then we'll get started.
Looks like we're about leveled up.
All right. Welcome, everybody. This is the weekly Midjourney office hours. We do it every week at Wednesday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Basically, what we do is we talk about what we're working on, what we're thinking about, and then we take questions. So let's get started. We released the personalization. That's been really great. If you haven't tried personalizing your model, do it right fucking now. Basically, you just do --p to turn it on, and if you haven't, that works for if you've had at least 200 ratings, and you can do the ratings under midjourney.com/rank, or just push the tasks and rate. You should do it. Pretty much everybody prefers it with it on all the time. It's a deeply introspective process, and it's very, very good. We are working on an update the personalization. We're debating about whether we'll just like push it out this week and break backwards compatibility and just keep doing that or do something else. But as people use it more, it seems like it should continue to improve. And so we're working on basically improving it. And then we're working on a faster and smoother onboarding so it doesn't take as long, it's not as complicated, and it's more called out for people to use it. And I want to try to get everybody to use it because the goal is V7. I want it to be default turned on for everyone all the time. There's a lot of things that we will, yeah, and then we'll basically be adding a lot of other sorts of, I would say, semi-personalization. So maybe you can kind of create profiles at some point and flip it to maybe just lock it to your demographic. Like, just say like I'm a dude in America, and that will probably be better than the average of the entire world. So we're kind of feeling that out. We're doing the demographic surveys to try to connect the aesthetics that people are preferring to the demographics. We're debating still how we'll expose that, but some of the demographics we'll use to expose explicit modes. So I think like one that's definitely a good idea is if we can find enough people with color blindness, we can probably have a version of Midjourney that works really good if you have color blindness. So I'm very interested to try to basically grab those people and see what we find. Um, it'll be interesting. Today I'm going to play around with using the demographics to try to visualize a Midjourney that's like only from people in Japan or only from people in America and only men and only women. We've done these tests before and they were really interesting, but we haven't tried it with the latest data, and so I kind of want to confirm it works. And then if it looks like it's working, we'll start to put it on the track to kind of putting all the demographics in there to test, and then we'll probably expose some subset of those things. So yeah. The personalization in general should get much, much better. It is kind of a little makeshift. I think it barely got out after several months of QA. We're learning a lot of things from the people who say it doesn't work well. So almost everybody says they prefer it, but some people say they don't. And we are looking at those people, and we'll probably do another survey back on those people and basically learn more about why occasionally people don't like it. I think, yeah, it's hard to test it for everyone, right? So we learned that we were doing some tests to saw the people who don't like their personalization tend to have higher errors on their scores in the machine learning side, and they tend to be sort of like a weirder aesthetic, maybe that other people, or at least is trying to solve for an aesthetic that is very different from all the others. So there's a lot of things we could do to kind of fix that, and we're debating about ways of doing that. There will definitely it will definitely get more stable. It will get more safe, and it will get higher quality. And we'll also get better at sort of more and more nuanced things. So I'm pretty convinced that it's going to just get really good. It's probably one of the biggest, domains for improving aesthetics from now on. I do think that the average aesthetics can get better, and it will get better in V7. But I think that allowing things to become more subjective is one of the best ways to make it better. So we're just going to learn a lot about aesthetics and where they come from. So I encourage everyone to try it. Everyone try personalization. And if you've done the personalization, please fill out the demographic survey because it's helping us a lot to do sort of scientific investigation on that. So please try the personalization, please try the demographic survey, and we'll keep chugging. The next thing that's going to come out this week, probably today in a few hours, is we're going to push an update to sref and the personalization code system so you can blend multiple codes. So if you have a bunch of number codes, you can put those in, it'll blend them. If you have two different personalization codes, you can put those in them. I don't think we're going to do blending weights for now because it gets really complicated, but we're going to let people blend them. And, one of the things that I would encourage people to do is like try personalizing your model and then getting a friend to personalize their model and then sort of explore how yours are different and then try blending them together. And I think that's going to be really fun. So I hope everybody enjoys that. I think that will launch in a few hours. They're just doing the final QA. Hopefully everything there is good. I think it'll let us. I think we have a maximum number of personalization codes we let people blend, but I think the stylized one should be a large number, so you can blend the images and the numbers and such. We're definitely seeing a lot of people enjoy the style codes. I think that's cool. We want to add more tools there. It's only going to improve in the future. I haven't been super happy. Like I don't think we've quite found yet the right tool that we're really happy with, but we have some ideas, so we'll kind of keep playing around with ways of eventually having some kind of style encyclopedia thing. And yeah, what's next? We're training the 6.5. It's such a bumpy release. I just so many fucking little edge cases to improving image quality. It's infuriating, but it is moving along, and I think it will be really good. I think the image quality for 6.5 will be really, really, really good. So I think everyone will be very happy with that. I think the try to update the upscalers quality too. So I think just yeah, it should be interesting. Um, I think it's probably going to be a few weeks still before 6.5 is out, just because it takes so long to train this new model. Um, V7 is also coming along. There's individual parts are coming online and they're looking good. Some of the data sets are finishing their preparation for the final training runs. So I think V7 will be, um, quite. I think the other thing V6.0 and V7 will be uh, pretty dramatic again, like more than 5 to 6. So we will see how that goes. We'll let people blend both the personalization codes and the sref codes. They're sort of you can, for either, we'll start allowing blending, just for people who are confused. Um, yeah, so V7 is going. I think as V7 is going, we're going to want to start polling people on how much they want us to sort of focus on video in 3D, on controllability. So after V7, we can either add a ton of controllability things, or we can just push towards video and 3D harder. So it'll be really interesting to see where people want us to put more effort. We can do everything at once too, like we have enough people. But I think, after V7, it'll be worth polling everybody at how they feel about where we should focus. Because there is still a V8 and a V9 that will be noticeably better. So we'll see. I have a feeling I know what people are going to say, but it'll be interesting to see what people say. So probably what we'll do is we'll have like a new idea rating sort of party after 6.5 and then after 7 to kind of reevaluate where the community is on what they think we should work on. We are still working on 3D. We are still working on video. They're moving along. It just, I think because we're working on so many different things, it would go faster if we worked on fewer things. Um, yeah, I'm hoping V7 will be much smarter. It'll have the really good image quality, and have better aesthetics, and it'll be faster. Looks like there's a good chance of V7 being noticeably faster and cheaper, basically, than V6. Um, yeah, there's a chance at some point we'll make slower models that are more expensive. This is a big debate for us. I think if V7 gets faster than V6, it may be tempting to make another version of V7 that's also slower. That's higher quality, and so we'll think about doing that, but that would probably come after the initial V7 launch. Um, but the current goal for V7 is to be faster and better. Faster and better and cheaper, basically. Uh, you don't really know until it's done, whether exactly how it's going to look, but that's probably how it's going to look. Um, yeah. Mm, what else? We're trying to just add a lot of polishing to the corners of the website right now. So we keep user testing new people every day, then seeing where they're confused. And there's just like a lot of little corners people get confused on the website. So we're like adding more feedback when you click buttons on the light box, better tool tips, lots of little, better help page. I think we just pushed lots of things to help people not get stuck. And then we're starting to trickle people in to the website at random, and without Discord, and sort of seeing how those stats look. And as we let more people in and sort of do the sort of random selection trickle in, we will. I think as we sort of approach a certain level of polish, and as the trickle stats A/B tests look good, we will flip the switch. So we're getting closer and closer. Um, yeah. Sorry, there's just so many people who join, the community every day. So we don't flipping into the website would just, maybe just we wouldn't necessarily be able to watch everyone and we kind of want to make sure it's a little bit like Discord has a lot of places for people to ask for help, and the website doesn't. So we added a little chat room for the help. So I think yeah, it's gonna be pretty good. Trying to add some more community features to the website around like, trends, maybe the most popular sref codes, things like that. Kind of experimenting with a bunch of things. Don't know exactly what it'll look like yet, but we do want to have more sort of like social like things. Um, and yeah, I think those are the main things right now. We will now move to a lightning round. So if you go to VC Text, you can put questions in there and I will answer them. And then when we'll do some. I think our team is still trying to figure out the right way to put remix on the website that doesn't just confuse people. I think it was extremely confusing for everybody. Like the word is confusing, the way that it works is confusing, and so they kind of hid it in a way that wasn't totally ideal under the reframe. We're going to replace that whole reframe with a new interface that's called an editor, and then the editor might be better. There might look clean, and then we might have a nice thing that's all integrated together. So I think hopefully that's what happens. And the editor will combine all the reframing and the panning and the inpainting together. So I think that's my hope right now. Um, Personalization for Niji is probably not going to happen. Sorry. Yeah. The 6.5 should be in a few weeks. You should be able to still look at names on the website and see images people have made. Yeah, I understand that trying to create consistency with personalization is hard. I don't. We're going to try to add a way to like seed lock it at some point. We've been debating ways of doing that. Like maybe we'll make the codes more ephemeral, where like if you add more rankings, it'll just change your code, and so you can use the old code if you want. We've been thinking about that. Skips don't tell us any information, so we don't add it to the ranking count. The scribe is already on the alpha website. It's just kind of not easy to see. You have to like drag an image in and then you like mouse over it with a little eye. It's pretty hidden. Not a huge fan. But at some point we'll have a more complex describe feature, and then we'll probably have a dedicated area on the website for it. If we do video, it'll probably be better than everything else out there. I don't think we're interested in releasing something that's worse than anything that exists. There's no reason to do it. Like if us doing video is the same as anybody else, then we'll just let everybody else do it. People can just animate their Midjourney pictures elsewhere. But you know, I think the reality is that the video quality is really only as good as the base model, and right now all the other base models suck. So if we did a video version of our stuff, it should be pretty good. It should just be much better. But because video is just like not necessarily way harder than just normal images. But I'm not really competitive, and we're already a big enough business, and I think it's a little shame. I think no one can compete with us on images, and so what happens is they need to raise money, so they try to do video, and then they animate Midjourney images into 5-second clips, which is kind of like hitting a supermodel with a baseball bat. And then, of course, a supermodel with a baseball bat still looks more attractive than the average person. So it kind of ends up in this weird situation where they're just like desperately trying to raise money off animated Midjourney images, and it's all just like a fundraising thing. So I mean, let's try to forgive them for being really sensationalist, but it is a little gimmicky right now and doesn't really feel worth for us making a gimmicky version of video. I think if we do video, we should do it well. Um, and so I think we're not really interested in doing video to kind of like do like a Hollywood play. I think that's kind of stupid. Um, but I think that video for us is a stepping stone to real time open world simulation. And so doing 3D and doing video for that is important as stepping stones. Mm. Oh, it's my alarm clock going off. Wonder why. Um, yeah, I mean, if you have 1,000 if you have 1,000 things ranked for personalization and you do one more image, it's kind of like only one of 1,000. It only like affects 1,000th of the thing. So as you rate more things, it affects it less. But it might help with edge cases. So I think a few thousand is probably better than 2,000, better than 200. But it's not clear that like 20,000 is better than 2,000. I don't think we're gonna do sound to image. I mean, it'd be cool to do music visualization, but probably not important right now. If we had a bigger team, maybe. Um, we'll definitely do multiple consistent characters, I think, in V7, but not in V6. Um, we're not going to run Midjourney models locally because the models are too big and complicated, and it just doesn't. It wouldn't be a good experience. Um, like if you got like a $3,000, if you got like $1,000 graphics card, you could make one image at like 2x at like half the speed of our service, and so that's just like a bad experience, you know. And some people are like, well, it's cheaper to buy $1,000 video card. No, it's not. You can just get you get unlimited images with $30 a month, so it's a much better value than buying a graphics card. It doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, maybe if you were to buy like your own cluster, you could, you know, it could be cheaper than paying us, but you know, I think we're not optimizing the service for people who want to drop $500,000 or something on a personal cluster. Um, so yeah, we're gonna have some new remix interface that's more intuitive, probably when we build the editor. Um, I don't think we have a great short-term way to put it back. I think we're trying to move forward to the next version. Every time you rate images, the personalization stuff changes, but it's very subtle. I think people are pretty just scared of it changing, but it's pretty safe. Like, I don't really see it getting worse. I don't think it's gonna get worse. It's like if you're fitting a line to 1,000 points and you add 1 point, it's not really gonna change the line very much. Um, Hopefully we'll have earlier results from the survey soon, but it's kind of blocked on me programming things. So when David has to program it, everything goes slow. Sorry. Personalization affects all sorts of things. It's sort of all the biases of the system. But try not to overthink it. Just pick the image you like better. I'm very happy that Midjourney has such a positive effect on people's lives. It definitely keeps me going, and as well as just the community in general. Can the personalization pair ranking? Yeah, if you don't like, try not to overthink the fact that the pairs are kind of random images. It doesn't really matter mathematically. All that matters is that they're different. In the future, we're going to have better pairs, but the better pairs don't really help you for your 1,000th rating. It only helps for like the first 10. So try not to overthink it. Just pick the picture you like better and trust the math. Trust the math. Um, yeah, we're going to get a lot better at plant species and animals for V7. We will have multiple personalization profiles in the future, but it will probably be more around V7. I think for V6, we're just trying to like figure things out. Liking your own images does not affect your personalization. Um, it was cool that Elon said Midjourney in an interview. Elon is a friend. Um, I think we're gonna let people add up to 3 personalization codes together and any number of sref codes, but I'm not exactly sure. Real-time prompting. We had a version of real-time prompting. We're just not totally happy with it yet, so Hard to say exactly when, but yeah, I think the goal is to do some kind of real-time system that isn't way worse. And so every time we make it real time, it's kind of worse, even though it's fun. So we're still a little bit of ways from that, I think. We are going to do some kind of style library at some point. I think we're not going to do weights for sref right now, just because I'm not a huge fan of the weights. It's like super complicated and hard to intuit, and no one uses it. So I think one day when everything is real time, it'll be easier to do weighting because you can kind of just like drag it as a slider. But I think because of the iteration speed, the weights, I'm not a huge fan of the weighting systems right now. Um, yeah, the future models will have the personalization on by default. You can always turn it off, obviously. We will add more features in the future for like setting date ranges or personal or resetting things in some way, but I think we're still debating on exactly how we do it. I mean, when we have the new model, all the personalization will reset anyway because we're going to reset the personalization with every new version. Well, I mean, like we're not going to delete the old one, but the new one will have a different personalization. It can't transfer between models. We're not currently planning on in painting with existing uploaded images for a while. It's kind of a bunch of moderation work, and I think we have more important moderation things to work on. Um, V7 will be much better with text than V6. Hard to say exactly, but I mean V6.5 will be much better at text than V7. So even just the 6.5 update should be a pretty huge update. Yeah, I mean if you just the pair ranking is not that sensitive, so just pick the one you like more and it will kind of figure it out. Like if at most if you only have 200 ratings and then you do 201, the 201 is probably like 0.5% effect on your thing. So it's like very subtle. And then when you have thousands, it's like 0.1, 0.01%. So it's very, very subtle. Still helps, but it's subtle. Doesn't make sense to have personalization weight instead of stylization because the personalization replaces the stylization thing. So there isn't separate things to weigh. We'll announce exactly how we blend them later today. You will have to rank again for V7 personalization, but we'll have a better onboarding system. Describe will get better. I think there's a way to custom zoom already. Um, yeah, we haven't really tuned chaos for personalization yet. You will not have to rank again for 6.5. There will be multiple personalization codes today. No, there will be the same personalization for 6.5. Hands and feet will improve with 6.5. Personalization already uses liked images from other users. I'm not sure if that's a good idea. It's possible we should turn that off at some point, but for now it does. The personalization updates after every new rating. I think the likes take a few hours and the pair rankings take only a minute. I think we're going to add better selection at some point for the in painting, but it's not the highest priority right now. We will improve. It's not the highest priority right now. We're not going to let people edit ranking items out of the personalization code. It's just, we don't really want people kind of, it like literally doesn't matter that much. You're overthinking it. We will maybe allow people to do multiple personalization profiles at some point, but that's something I want to hold off on for a bit. The srefs will work in 6.5, but they will reset for v7. But I mean, you can just use the image from 6.5 and v7. You know, the sref codes are literally pretty much the same. It's just having a very specific image, but the image doesn't exist. I think we're trying to understand the origins of aesthetics in order to make things as aesthetic as possible for people. Understand that kind of objective or subjective beauty is useful. Ideally, the default aesthetic would be kind of objective beauty and not subjective beauty, but right now it's kind of contaminated. Like the current default aesthetic is very optimized to a 38-year-old male, not towards like the general objective aesthetics. I think we will do an API one day, but it's not a priority right now. My main concern with the API still is just like kind of tasteless hyper commercialization. You know, like we're not really trying to make money, but I don't really want every venture-backed startup trying to like shove Midjourney into their product and then shove it down people's throats and then hype it up so that they can like raise an extra $1 million. Like it just isn't kind of feels bad. So we've thought about doing non-commercial APIs or personal APIs. So that's more likely to come first. If we do a commercial API, it would have to be like pretty locked down, like you know, almost like the Apple Store would have to approve everything. But I just I don't think we would. It would be a lot of work and not a lot of benefit. So I'm kind of cautious around it right now. When you do the personalization, it's basically all your bias. There's no default Midjourney bias in there. I think objective beauty is something that everybody would agree on, and subjective beauty is something that only you would agree on in the extreme. We're going to leave the demographics going for, I think, forever. Just we're going to keep collecting it, but we'll see. Do not overthink the image comparisons. Just pick the one that you like more. It's about picking the one you personally like more, and if you do that, it will work properly. If you don't do that, it might not work properly. There's definitely some elements of objective beauty, like the flowers try to be beautiful for the bees, and then somehow also we find flowers beautiful. So there's some shared aesthetic between humans and flowers and bees. And obviously, whether or not the stars find the flowers beautiful, I think it's close enough to some universality that calling it objective aesthetics is not crazy. The stars might find things beautiful. Maybe the stars are even alive. Who knows? Maybe we have like plasma consciousness. Um, we are going to improve the upscalers a lot, I'm hoping, for V6.5. But we'll see what it looks like. And then I think the upscalers for 7 might be much, much, much better. All right. I think we're starting to trail off, so we can probably do some voice ones in a minute. I'm sorry.